And I do believe we are live. I think. YouTube is being strange again. Just slightly odd for some reason. Can anyone hear me? If you would kindly say something in the chat, I would appreciate it to indicate that I am currently saying something. Because just before I started stream, it popped up a message saying live streaming is not currently available. End stream. And I just restarted it. So it says concurrent viewers. Let me just have a look. No, it's definitely streaming. Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. That was very weird. I am very much not used to YouTube's weird stuff yet. If you can't hear the game, that's on purpose. The master volume is low because when I turned this game on for the first time, it nearly blew out my ears on the natural volume that it's set at. Which is why it is currently muted. I'm going to slowly raise the volume, and I want you to tell me when it's loud enough. I'm going to put it up to just...
We're still vassals, slaves, we're just in prettier cages.
Okay, that's the master volume is at 10 at the moment. How does that sound compared to my actual voice volume? That's about as loud as it's comfortable for me to listen to. Obviously, I don't want my commentary drowned out, and I have not really done games like this before. Oh, so I should probably close down Star Sector in the background while I'm doing it. There we go. Ah. Go 2030? Okay, that would be... I will have to turn down my own personal volume then. It's maybe at 30... Okay. Okay. Okay, then. Okay, this is bloody annoying. Okay, how about that? That should be a fair bit louder now.
We're still vassals, slaves, we're just in prettier cages.
I do like the music. The music is quite nice and melancholy. Very British. Very British. Nice to see you, Murray. Welcome to audio balancing. Yeah, the audio balancing is a real pain. It's pure guesswork. It's pure guesswork because the way that I'm hearing it is completely different to how YouTube is broadcasting it. I think that's good. That might be like 5-10% too loud. Okay, I'll turn the internal volume down just a tiny, just to 9. That should be good. Alright, let me just check on my audio stuff and everything. The visual is okay. This is the first game. When I first installed this game, I had certain minor issues with it. Where's chat? You are quite correct. Thank you for telling me that. There we go. Sorry about that. I made a new capture for this game, and I forgot that it is higher than the chat on screen. So there we go. Once I start the game itself, I will be obviously tabbed in. I have my laptop open, so I'll be able to view chat, but probably I might be a bit slow on replying to you every now and then, simply because this is a pretty information-dense game, as I've seen. I'll probably pause it every so often just to give my commentary on things, also make sure my water is close to hand. Let me have a take a drink before we start, actually. Alright then. Let us make a beginning. Oh yeah, I was going to say, this is the first game that I've ever played via OBS that actually the very first time that I give it its own window, it just goes to the window with zero problems capturing it in proper full screen and everything. Every other game that I've tried to capture via OBS using the game catcher system has not worked the first time I've tried it. I have always had to jigger things around and mess things about, but this is very pleasant. It almost makes me forgive the fact that this game is 50 gigabytes large. for... I mean, people have said, yeah, it's because it's an FMV game. I kind of understand that, but at the same time, I find it very, very annoying. All right, that's enough waffling around. I'm going to start this now. Just make sure that everything is good. I have a vibration. I'm using a mouse. Why on earth would anyone play a game like this with a flipping controller? I don't know. But doesn't Kirsche use a controller for all her games? I don't know. But yeah, you know, a great game in current year when it gives you a content warning. The first thing it shows you when it starts up for the first time is warning, user advisory, trigger warning, etc. and so on. I don't know. Current year is pathetic. I hate everything. Confirm. Okay. Just make sure my ears are not exploded. Latest OBS update is hit or miss. By the way, can people hear a change in my voice when I turn my head to one side to look at the laptop? I'm not sure. But anyway, before I look at that again, let's go play.
And have confidence that the
Campaign.
keep you safe.
Enter game name. Proctor 1. Continue. Story mode. Intern. Broadcaster. A balanced experience, non-broadcast mechanics and viewer ratings provide a reasonable challenge. Experience the story without the stress, non-broadcasting mechanics are off, viewers are very forgiving. What is custom? I always look at custom. Not for broadcast is designed to feel like making live TV, challenging and intense. We believe players should also be in control of their own experience. We don't recommend playing custom your first time. Okay, I will ignore it. I do really like it when games make really flexible custom options. I remember playing Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2, and that has an insanely... That sets a gold standard for how tweakable all the settings are. That's really, really wonderfully customizable. But anyway, enough of that. We're going with Broadcaster first time. Noticeable. It didn't last 5 minutes without meeting Kirsche. Kirsche is currently going to be doing a funny frog, gay frog game tomorrow, which I'm greatly looking forwards to. That should be very interesting. Alright, chat, here we go.
That's all coming up on tonight's National Nightly News.
I thought I had the subtitles on. Maybe they just don't show in this scene. I'm not going to be playing Frog Game. Loading screens can be skipped by inventing a time machine. Yeah, this is going to be a very British game already, and I like it. Day 1, the election. Getting topical already. Are you ready for the election, boys and girls? My birds have woken up in the background. Turn right. WASD. I've heard people say WASD before. I don't like WASD. Fun fact, the keys on my keyboard are so old that the vast majority of them are now worn off and completely illegible. I know what they are purely by touch typing. I wish this... do I have a... That's annoying. I wish I could read these credit things. That's actually quite funny. Racist old postal worker as himself. Oh, I'm gonna like this game, I can tell. Ah, I see. Turn right. Answer call.
Hi, David. I have a call for you. I'm just putting it through.
That is the gayest receptionist I've ever heard.
Listen, I know you've only come in to clean up the place, but I've got a bit caught up, so you're gonna have to run the news tonight. Now, don't worry, it's not hard, and I'm gonna stay on the phone and help you. First, I'm gonna give you a quick tour of the broadcast room, so if you're not doing it already, look forwards towards all those screens. Right, look up at the top. That coloured bar is your audience. You want to keep the viewers going up and not down. Underneath that, you've got the screens. The one on the right is the broadcast screen. That's what the viewers are seeing at home. It's only a couple of seconds behind the master screen there in the middle. That's the
So
one
it's OBS Studio mode, basically.
Now, the 4 small screens on the left show the different signals coming from the studio, and you can choose between them using the numbered buttons on the vision mixer at the bottom left. Don't worry, I'll talk you through it and you'll pick it up in no time. Now, have a look to your left.
Is there any other way that I can change how the stream moves? Turn left. 1 second. Okay, good. I can just pause it at any time. Good.
These plugs control everything in the studio. I've left them set up for you, so provided you haven't fiddled with them, all you have to do now is throw the master trip switch and we're in business. Once you've got the power on, face the front again. You can see on the broadcast screen that we're in the end titles for the show before us. Fortunately, they go on for fucking ages, so there's plenty of time for me to explain. Oh, right, okay, they're over, so we haven't got long now till the broadcast. Right, quickly, mate, look down under the desk. You can see a load of videotapes on the left. They're your adverts. Pick any three and load them into the machines on the right. When you've done that, look up to the front again.
So I have to do that physically. Okay. Exercise with ham sleeves. Crazy Neil. Come to Bumley. I've got to see what's that one. Alan James. Alan James is a joke that Ashen's made once. But I have no idea what the context. My Salad Weekly. These seem to be...
When you get the signal, select screen 1 with the vision mixer and we're ready to go.
Prawn and mayonnaise?
You know, seafood makes me go out in pustules.
Yeah, thought it might increase our viewing figures.
Every day. You offer me prawns every day.
10 seconds, everybody. It's how I show love.
You're trying to kill me.
And yet you persist. Going in 5, 4.
Good evening. I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Our main stories tonight.
Okay, we're all good. Next thing is going to be to throw the news titles on screen 2. There'll be a countdown, but I'll count you in as well. Just relax, mate. It's all gravy.
Buys Honest Andy's Totally Independent and corners the flowered
Oh
market.
god, this is going to be absolute information overload, isn't it?
Sports fans everywhere celebrate as popular footballer Johnny Hamsleeves wins Sports Personality of the Year.
I'm just going to pause it here and say this may be a dreadful game for me to play because I'm a horribly analytical person, and so I'm going to be absolutely screaming inside my head every few seconds trying to figure out what's going on and not wanting to miss anything while also trying to think of things to say. This may get chaotic very fast.
And a spoonful of sugar. Megan will be chatting with movie star Lawrence Blunderclatch about his new movie, The Medicated. And, of course, we'll be going live to Advance headquarters to hear what the leaders of this fledgling party have to say on their historic visit.
Right, button
That's
2
all coming up on
in
tonight.
3, 2,
National
1.
News.
Lovely, mate. Next thing is to throw back to Jeremy with button 1 when that globe in the middle shrinks down and vanishes.
I can feel my cortisol levels rising already. Oh god, there's gonna be 4 screens. Why did I do this to myself?
Here it comes. Switch to screen 1. Now, lovely, mate.
First, the votes are in, and it's a decisive win for Advance.
We often get a bit of interference around this time, mate. Keep your eye on the machine at the bottom right. Use that slider that's flashing, or your scroll wheel to move the wave up and down, keeping the green bit in the white bit.
But critics have accused it of a severe lack of actual policies and of being deliberately vague. The opposition parties have all conceded defeat to Advance's overwhelming mandate, but have yet to appear publicly. However, former Home Secretary
Great, it's going well. All you've got to do now is play the advert at the end of the segment. Make sure you don't play it too early or we'll all get fired. Now the clock at the top is counting you down to the advert. When it reaches 0, press one of the 3 play ad buttons over there at the bottom right. I normally play the first one at the first break and so on, but you can play them in any order you want. I'll count you into it as well, but keep your eye on the
I'm already getting information overload. This is terrible.
3, 2, 1, advert.
1 minute back, everybody. Jeremy, I need you to fill after the ads.
Oh dear.
Wanker Snatch is running late. I thought I'd ask him about the election.
What is this one? Exercise with hand sleeps.
That's the same policy we use with you. I thought that was our little...
He looks a bit like Elon Musk. What the hell?
I'm deeply uncomfortable with your burgeoning friendship. Yeah.
Wicked, we made it to the first ad break. You're doing great, mate. But this is where it starts getting a bit trickier.
Oh, wonderful.
This next sequence is what we call a multicam sequence because you're going to be cutting between multiple cameras to keep things interesting. A lot of it's down to personal taste, but here's 3 good rules of thumb. 1. Try and keep the shot on whoever is doing the talking. 2. don't stay on the same shot for too long. 10 seconds at the most. So if you're on the person who's talking, try and throw in the odd reaction shot or pull out to the wide shot for a bit just to keep it interesting. 3. Don't stay on reaction shots for too long. A couple of seconds is usually enough. Then the audience want to see who's doing the talking, yeah? Stick to these rules and you'll be fine. It's not as complicated as it sounds.
It's already too complicated for me. Help.
Make it look like those. Might as well get screen 1 selected now. No need to wait for the broadcast to start. Try and stay ahead, mate.
Quiet in the studio. Thank you so much. 10 seconds, everybody.
With Johnny Hamsley.
Going in 5.
Act now, fatty.
3.
Welcome back to the National Nightly News. Later, we'll be hearing from shock election winners Advance. But first,
Get ready to go to Megan on screen 4.
Is here with a star of both stage and screen. Megan?
Thank you, Jeremy. Megan Wolf.
Get on screen 4.
And today I have
Oops,
a guest
sorry.
who
Whoops,
starred
oh dear.
in everything from Shakespeare
Right,
to
go
the
to
shot
Blunderclatch
film
on screen 3 when she says his
joined
name.
today by none other than Lawrence Blunderclatch. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, my dear, I do hope you believe me when I tell you that being with you here today is among
Switch to 2 for the wide now.
May I say, having you here with us is among ours.
Right, now just try and stay on whoever's talking.
Your latest movie, which is called The Medicated.
The medicated, yes.
Wow, what was that like?
Well, as I said to Peter...
You guys don't realize how hard I'm clenching my hand right now.
He's a wonderful chap, he really is.
Uh,
I've worked with him on several movies.
Give us a look at Megan's reaction. Lovely. Now back to Thunder Twat.
I really meant that.
Wow, that is fantastic. And am I right in saying that the character you play in this movie is quite an academic one?
Absolutely right. A scientist.
Was that a challenge at all?
What exactly are you implying? But seriously, yes, you're right. It was a complete departure from my last starring role when I played Sergeant Brock Rockman in Bullet Man. You'll remember that that was the true story of one soldier's fight for a love that surpasses all others. A love, of course, for freedom. I think it's grossed over $1 billion, but honestly, who's counting?
It's a role that saw you scoop 2 Best Actor awards.
this reminds me of the interview that Kirsty did last night.
But I really am not in it for the awards, although those 3 little statues do take pride of place on my mantelpiece.
With all the others, I'm sure. So, if you're not doing it for the awards...
Been on that shot a bit long.
That is a beautiful question, Megan, and not easy to answer. Like you, I'm afraid. Cut me, and I will bleed.
Remember the 10-second rule.
Shut up!
Feel, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Bleeding. Doesn't it? Giving.
Get back to who's talking.
For one's audience. I suppose in the end, I do it for the difference it makes. I do it for the people that I inspire. I do it for the little people. But most of all, I think I do it for the positive change that I can bring about in the world.
3, 4.
And today, of course, we're in for some real change, it looks like, in the coming few months. What do you make of this historic election result?
Oh, well. Well, now you're asking. Historic election
2 minutes and 30 seconds, I might actually survive.
Historic is the word. Well, it's difficult, isn't it? Very difficult. But,
Audience is getting bored, mate.
Shut up.
He's been quite clear that when it comes to politics,
Why do people play these games? Why do people enjoy being horribly stressed like this?
strive to not fuck things up.
Shit, he swore. Oh, well, don't worry, he won't do it again.
I said fuck.
Shit, he did it again. Okay, don't panic. I'll explain how to deal with swearing at the break.
Medicated, which opens next week.
Right,
around
they've swapped the shot of Jeremy on screen 1 for a VT of the movie clip. You'll get a countdown on the screen, but I'll just let Megan cue you in.
My character, Dr. Lance Hemlock, is faced with a decision that could affect humanity's very survival.
Exciting stuff. Let's take a look. Exciting stuff.
Cool, looks like Blunderclatch is losing it in the studio, but we ain't got time for that. There's more interference coming. It's a bit trickier this time, mate. Use that little flashing joystick to the left of the knob, or hold down your middle mouse or Alt on your keyboard, and as the frequency changes, match it to the white bit by dragging right. going to squash the frequency back by dragging left.
Lawrence, we mustn't. Think of Carol.
That's Dr. Lance. Flanagan.
Oh my.
Jubbly, mate.
For you, baby.
Next, we're going to change the amplitude. Same as last time. Little joystick will hold up to a middle mouse, and this time push upwards. Upwards, mate. Upwards.
What the hell? Oh, I see. Oh. Crap. You let too much interference out and the audience switched off. Okay. Now that looks like a guy who'll get into a sex scandal. Yep, I agree. Now the sad thing is that after I'm not sure how many of you watched Kirsha's interview last night, but during pretty much the entire thing, I was pretty much screaming to my lawyer friend about how the woman in it was acting, and he was just like saying, "Oh yeah, I forgot, you don't deal with these people on a daily basis, do you? This is literally how they all act and talk about." So I actually appreciate the fact that I'm playing this game after seeing that interview, because as he called them, as Alex called them, they are the system's foot soldiers, and I have a strong feeling that this game will have captured the system's foot soldiers very effectively, and I'm very impressed by that. How long till he starts peddling NFTs? I mean, this is the stupid thing about it, is that what that woman was doing, you could sell that product very easily, in my opinion. To a stupid person, you couldn't. I mean, it's a scam. It's a nonsense product that doesn't make any sense. But I mean, what she's trying to do is fairly simple, but she layered so much nonsense on top of it that it just ended up making zero sense and gave Kirsha 1,000 different avenues to just go at her and say, you literally don't know what you're talking about. Like, if you want to make a scam, keep it a simple scam so that people are not tipped off to how much BS you're actually, putting out into the air. Okay. Okay, let me get on with this. 1 second, let me just check my other stuff here. Yep, everything seems to be synced up properly. They've been trying to sell that for soon to be 3 years. I mean, yeah, this is investor capital and so on. No, I won't let myself get tangent. I won't tangent. I won't get distracted. Let's retry from checkpoint. You got it. Fast forward, full fast forward and rewind controls are now available in the archive. Okay. Please don't tell me this is right from the start. Oh, it is. That's annoying. Oh well. Oh no, it's the ad break.
Great, mate. But this is where it starts getting a bit trickier. This next sequence is what we call a multicam sequence.
Let's look around the office, see what I can find. Bake sale. Oh, that's cute.
A lot of it's down to personal taste, but here's 3 good rules of thumb. 1. Try and keep the shot on whoever is doing the talking. 2. Don't stay on the same shot for too long. 10 seconds at the most. So if you're on the person who's
Oh dear.
try and throw in the odd reaction shot or pull out to the wide shot for a bit just to keep it interesting. 3. Don't stay on reaction shots for too long. A couple of seconds is usually enough. Then the audience want to see who's doing the talking, yeah? Stick to these rules and you'll be fine. It's not as complicated as it sounds. You've seen programs on television, haven't you? Make it look like those. Might as well get screen 1 selected now. No need to wait for the broadcast to start. Try and stay ahead, mate.
Quiet in the studio.
Thank you so much.
10 seconds, everybody.
With Johnny Hamsley.
Going in 5, 4, 3.
I'm actually glad we reset.
Welcome back to the National Nightly News. Later, we'll be hearing from shock election winners Advance. But first,
Get ready to go to Megan.
Fiddle with that? No, I can't.
is here with a star of both stage and screen. Megan?
Thank you, Jeremy. Megan Wolf, culture correspondent. And today I have a guest who starred in everything from Shakespeare
Right,
to the
go to
Shopbox
Blunderclatch on
films.
screen 3 when she says his
Joined
name.
today by none other than Lawrence Blunderclatch. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, my dear.
1, 2, 3, 4,
That being
5,
with you here today is
6,
among the
Switch to 2
7,
for the wide
8,
now.
9.
May I say,
10.
having you here with us is among ours.
I'm going to be counting every so often.
Stay on whoever's talking.
Latest movie, which is called The Medicated.
The medicated, yes.
Wow, what was that like?
Well, as I said to Peter at the Rat, That's Peter Jensen, the director.
Give us a look at Megan's reaction. Lovely. Now back to Thunder Twat.
I've worked with him on several movies, all terribly successful. I said to Peter, what a wild ride this has been. And you know what, Megan? I really meant that.
Wow, that is fantastic. And am I right in saying that the character you play in this movie is quite an academic one?
Absolutely right. A scientist.
Was that a challenge at all?
One,
Exactly, are you implying?
2.
But seriously, yes, you're right. It was a complete departure from my last starring
Been on that show a bit long.
when I played Sergeant Brock Rockman in Bullet Man. You'll remember that that was the true story of one soldier's fight for a love that surpasses all others. A love, of course, for freedom.
Remember the 10-second
It's
rule.
grossed over $1 billion, but honestly, who's counting?
It's a role that saw you scoop 2 Best Actor awards, if I remember correctly.
It's so sweet of you to mention it, but I really am not in it for the awards, although those 3 little statues do take pride of place on my mantelpiece.
With all the others, I'm sure. So, if you're not doing it for the awards, what is it then that drives you?
That is a beautiful question, Megan, and not easy to answer. Like you, I'm afraid. Cut me, and I
Audience is
will
getting bored, mate.
Shut up.
often. That's how it feels, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Bleeding, doesn't it? Giving, suffering for one's audience. I suppose in the end, I do it for the difference it makes. I do it for the people that I inspire. The little people. But most of all, I think I do it for the positive change that I can bring about in the world.
And today, of course, we're in for some real change, it looks like, in the coming few months. What do you make of this historic election result?
Oh, well. Well, now you're asking. Historic election result. Indeed. Historic is the word. Well, difficult, isn't it? Very difficult. But I think I've always been quite clear that when it comes to politics, one should always strive to not fuck things up.
Shit, he swore. Oh, well, don't worry, he won't do it again.
Sorry, I said fuck.
Shit, he did it again. Okay, don't panic. I'll explain how to deal with swearing at the break.
Medicated, which opens next week.
Right,
around
they've
the
swapped
country.
the shot of Jeremy on screen 1 for a VT of the movie clip. You'll get a countdown on the screen, but I'll just let Megan cue you in.
My character, Dr. Lance Hemlock, is faced with a decision that could affect humanity's very survival.
Exciting stuff. Let's take a look.
Oh,
Cool, looks like Blunderclatch is losing it in the studio, but we ain't got time for that. There's more interference coming. It's a bit trickier this time, mate. Use that little flashing joystick to the left of the knob, or hold down your middle mouse or Alt on your keyboard, and as the frequency changes, match it to the white bit by dragging right.
You think I don't know that?
Now we're going to squash the frequency back by dragging left.
Nolans mustn't think of Carol.
Dr. Lance to you, Miss Flanagan.
Jubbly, mate.
For you, baby.
Next, we're going to change the amplitude. Same as last time. Little joystick or hold on to a middle mouse, and this time, push upwards. Try and keep in time with the white guides.
why doesn't this work? What am I doing wrong?
Now let's match it back.
Ugh. I don't get it. What am I doing wrong there? That's really annoying. I've done the spacebar to apply a bleep. Oh, I see. Let me just look at the shortcuts next time we go in there. Controls. Sound mixing, adverts, toggles. Interference adjust, left alt. Amazing that all these pretentious, washed-up actors are the same no matter what country you're in. You have to use the vertical slide to the right of the joystick, I think.
Wicked. We've made it to the first ad break. You're doing great, mate. But this is where it starts getting a bit trickier.
We have to do them
This
both
next
at the same
sequence is what we
time.
call a multicam sequence, because you're going to be cutting between multiple cameras to keep things interesting. A lot of it's down to personal taste, but here's 3 good rules of thumb.
These aren't my
1.
cards. Please tell
Try
me
and
these
keep
aren't
the
my
shot
cards.
on whoever
No,
is
they're the
doing
right
the
ones,
talking.
apparently.
Let's just look at this one.
Don't stay on the same shot for too long. 10 seconds at the most. So if you're on the person who's talking, try and throw in the odd reaction shot or pull out to the wide shot for a bit just to keep it interesting. 3. Don't stay on reaction shots for too long. A couple of seconds is usually enough. Then the audience want to see who's doing the talking, yeah? Stick to these rules and you'll be fine. It's not as complicated as it sounds. You've seen programs on television, haven't you? Make it look like those. Might as well get screen 1 selected now. No need to wait for the broadcast to start. Try and stay ahead, mate.
Quiet in the studio.
Thank you so much.
10 seconds, everybody.
With Johnny Hamsley.
Right, I
5,
can't even do that until it starts.
3.
Hopefully I don't have to hold the slider. I'll keep that in mind.
Later, we'll be hearing from shock election winners Advance.
Oh,
Get ready to go to Megan on screen 4.
can I do this with my...
Here are the star of
yes.
both stage and screen. Megan?
Thank you, Jeremy.
Ah, good. I don't have to use my... I'm slowly learning the hotkeys for this.
From Shakespeare
Right, go to Blunderclatch on screen 3 when she says his name.
by none other than Lawrence Blunderclatch. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, my dear. I do hope you believe me when I tell you that being with you here today is a moment...
Switch to 2 for the wide now.
May I say, having you here with us is among ours.
Right, now just try and stay on whoever's talking.
Latest movie, which is called The Medicated.
The medicated, yes.
Wow, what was that like?
Well, as I said to Peter at the Rat, that's Peter Jensen, the director.
Give us a look at Megan's reaction. Lovely. Now back to Thunder Twat.
I've worked with him on several movies, all terribly successful. I said to Peter, what a wild ride this has been. And do you know what, Megan? I really meant that.
Wow, that is fantastic.
What happens if I go to, like, one... No, it's not.
The character you play in this movie is quite an academic one.
Absolutely right. A scientist.
Right, so mental note, I can go to scenes that don't have anything on them.
Yes, you're right. It was a complete departure from my last starring role when I played Sergeant Brock Rockman in Bullet Man. You'll remember that that was the true story of one soldier's fight for a love that surpasses all others. A love, of course, for freedom. I think it's grossed over $1 billion, but honestly, who's counting?
It's a role that saw you scoop 2 Best Actor awards, if I remember correctly.
It's so sweet of you to mention it, but I really am not in it for the awards, although those 3 little statues do take pride of place on my mantelpiece.
With all the others, I'm sure. So, if you're not doing it for the awards, what is it then that drives you?
That is a beautiful question, Megan, and not easy to answer. Like you, I'm afraid. Cut me, and I will bleed. And often, that's how it feels, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Bleeding, doesn't it? Giving, suffering for one's audience. I suppose in the end, I do it for the difference it makes. I do it for the people that I inspire. The little people. But most of all, I think I do it for the positive change that I can bring about in the world.
And today, of course, we're in for some real change, it looks like, in the coming few months. What do you make of this historic election result?
Oh, well. Well, now you're asking. Historic election result. Indeed. Historic is the word. Well, it's difficult, isn't it? Very difficult. But I think I've always been quite clear that when it comes to politics, that one should always strive to not fuck things up.
Shit, he swore. Oh, well, don't worry, he won't do it again. Shit, he did it again. Okay, don't panic. I'll explain how to deal with swearing at the break.
Medicated, which opens next week.
Right, they've swapped the shot of Jeremy on screen 1 for a VT of the movie clip. You'll get a countdown on the screen, but I'd just let Megan cue you in.
My character, Dr. Lance Hemlock, is faced with a decision that could affect humanity's very survival.
Exciting stuff. Let's take a look. Exciting stuff.
Okay, here we go. Let's hope I don't mess this up this time.
Oh, looks like Blunderclatch Badger's losing it in the studio, but we ain't got time for that. There's more interference coming. It's a bit trickier this time, mate. Use that little flashing joystick to the left of the knob, or hold down your middle mouse or Alt on your keyboard, and as the frequency changes, match it to the white
Okay.
bit by dragging right.
You think I don't
Okay.
Now we're going to squash the frequency back by dragging left.
Nolans mustn't think of Carol.
That's Dr. Lance to you, Miss Flanagan.
Jubbly, mate.
For you, baby.
Next, we're going to change the amplitude. Same as last time. Little joystick or hold Alt or middle mouse, and this time push upwards.
Ah, that's what I need to do.
But I didn't listen.
Okay, I've got it this time. I didn't get the and upwards
Right,
bit.
now let's match it back by going downwards.
There we go.
The virus.
Excellent.
The sterility. This formula. This is the key.
Bloody perfect, mate.
There's just something about British compliments that just hit differently. The British have this amazing way of making you both feel like you're the best person in the entire world, and also like lower than the dirt that is beneath their shoe in the space of 1 or 2 sentences.
End of the clip, you'll want to play another ad. Remember to use the clock at the top to count you in.
2, 1.
Right, I guess I better explain how to deal with bleeping out swear words. As you've probably noticed, the broadcast screen, here, is about 2 seconds behind the master screen, here. When someone says a naughty word, the bleep button lights up, like this. 2 seconds later, you'll hear that swear word going out on the broadcast, and you need to hold down the bleep button, or the spacebar on your keyboard, for as long as the swear word lasts. It can take a bit of practice getting used to hearing 2 things at once. Just stay calm and you'll get it. And if you can't tell when to bleep, just above the button, you'll literally be able to see the sound scrolling by. All you gotta do is hold it down while the red bit is over the red line.
Oh, I see it's
Simple.
hold down.
Of course, if you do it by eye, you'll have to take your eye off the screens. That's why real professionals do it by ear. Most people like to have the volume of the broadcast screen a little bit below the master screen.
Oh, I
Let's
see.
it
That's what
now.
these ones do.
Loose leaf
As you turn it up, you'll hear the advert getting louder.
and
Good.
iceberg.
You're set to start censoring. Like I say, it takes a little practice, but I'll try and help you through it, and soon we'll have you bleeping like a pro. Remember,
Bleeping like a
button lights
pro.
up.
I love that.
Count 1, 2, and hold it down.
Absolutely.
Remember to select screen 1 now that you've got the feed. Don't wait for the broadcast to go live. That's too late. You can use the number buttons on your keyboard, 1 to 4.
Personality running the country. Seriously?
We've had worse. 5, 4, 3.
Welcome back. And I'm told we can now go live to Advance Headquarters, where the 2 leaders, Peter Clement and Julia Salisbury, are about to make their acceptance address.
Cut to the outside broadcast. Oh shit, he's pissed. Get ready to bleep.
Well, thank you all for coming, and, well, where do I start? What a day.
They said we couldn't do
They
it.
certainly did.
They used every dirty, low-down, lying southern bastard trick they had against us. But you, the people, you saw right through their shite.
I'm sorry about the language there.
Sorry about that. I've had a couple of celebratory
Ow.
parties. Makes me coarser than a granny's fanny.
Back to who's talking.
Memorably put.
No, you totally
Let's be
missed
honest,
that.
who can blame Peter for celebrating?
Get on the
Throughout the
speaker,
campaign,
mate.
you've heard us say that Advance are not a political party. When things are going well.
Panic levels are elevating.
When the country is suffering, you don't need a party. You need a team. A team that can change things. But today is day 1 of a new future. A better, fairer future.
Been on that short
So
bit long.
perhaps we should all be celebrating.
Except for the rich. For them, the party's over. They shouldn't be celebrating. They should be putting their shitting pants on and opening their dusty checkbooks.
Again, colourfully put, but not inaccurate. Before we came out here to address
I wonder who on earth this guy could be a caricature of.
to pass the Assets and Wealth Act. Working with the tax office, we have produced a definitive list of every person in the country with wealth into the millions.
You know the sort of probably you rather you don't. Because the likes of you and me are not welcome in their gated communities.
Tomorrow, we will be introducing a sweeping reform of the tax system in this country. No more hiding wealth offshore, no more trust funds or creative accounting. A simpler, fairer, unavoidable set of tax laws.
So, all you bastard public school snobs have got nowhere to hide. And earlier today, we revoked your passports. You want them back? You want to leave like you threatened before the election? That's fine. But first, you're going to pay up. You're going to pay back.
Advance are going to turn this country from a nation of warring individuals into a team.
Yeah, good luck. We've been trying that for about 2,000 years.
To raise the living standards of us all.
The pundits said we'd have to raise billions. But you'll see when we've reclaimed what's ours, that's absolute ferret shite. So to you posh twats.
The people who pay you a pittance to serve them drinks in their private clubs. The
Oh.
people whose children you raise.
So they've got time to get even fucking richer.
Advance have this to say to you.
It ends today.
We are coming for your sports cars and your mansions and your...
Might actually be developing a bit of a rhythm here.
Today.
We will put the wealth of this country back where it should have always been. In the hands of the people who created it.
It ends today.
Yes, it ends today. And tomorrow, we'll start making it fair again. Just like we promised we would.
And until then, ladies and gents, I suggest we all get pissed.
I can't argue with that. Thank you for your time.
Well, an interesting acceptance speech there from the leaders of Advance.
Oh.
And our apologies
Oh.
for the fruity language.
I was actually slightly sweating during that bit. Wow, this is surprisingly stressful. Let me just have a look at the chat for a second while I calm down. Fanny is a word that needs to be bleeped. Yeah, isn't fanny one of those words? Like in America, fanny means, I think, bottom, but in Britain, like fanny means the other part. Or it's something weird like that, because I've heard it used in America in a very different context, but in Britain it's considered fairly rude, I believe. It's not the nicest thing you can say to somebody, put it that way. Oh, anyway, let's continue now that I've had a chance to breathe a tiny bit. Actually, I've had a drink too. Oh. I have no idea how people manage to play games like Papers, Please and so on, although in fairness, I suppose Papers, Please is a more text-based game, so you're not doing quite as much mental exercise translating things back and forth. It's a childish word for but, yeah. Jealous. Fanny in British terms is, yeah, it's funny because, like, there's a joke about everybody having an Aunt Fanny too. It's one of those weird things. Oh, it's so difficult. It's so difficult to explain my culture to people who are not British, because British culture is such a weird thing. It's like there's actually this rule of, I believe it's anthropology, where the more insular and closed off a civilization is, then the more strange its internal customs will become. It's why you have stuff like the Chinese Empire with its 500 years of isolationism. That was also Japan too. How their cultures evolved in such dramatically different fashions that were so far removed from any of the Western cultures. It wasn't really geographical distance, it was just their complete refusal to allow any outsiders in. And so their methods of... It's about determining hierarchy and determining placement in society. I think I read a paper about it once, and it was very interesting. How if the culture has a large amount of exposure to other cultures, then its own internal culture will actually stay relatively homogenous, because it's very easy for people of different social classes to identify each other simply by comparing how they act to the outsiders that are surrounding them. But if they don't have the presence of outsiders, then their social rituals become much more elaborate and convoluted. so that the internal class division becomes more self-reinforcing that way. And that's why there's such a dramatic difference between the way, say, an upper-class English person will speak compared to a quote-unquote commoner, or people from different boroughs and different counties, and how they will all have such aggressive reactions if you mistake them for one another, because they just have not had the same melting pot-like culture of America. So that's a bit of that's a bit of research for you all today. Anyway, I think I'm calmed down enough now to continue. Let's go.
Hopefully we got that bleeped out for you in time. If not, someone's going to be in trouble.
I'm so sorry.
As the country braces itself for new government, that's all from us this evening at the National Nightly News. We'll be back tomorrow with full coverage of the first day under advance. I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Have a peaceful night.
And we're out. Good job, everybody. Same again tomorrow.
Looks like you've got it now. Thanks for all the help, mate. I've got to go. Ferry's about to leave. Probably won't be coming back. Job's yours, mate. Good luck.
Weird fever dream. Am I dying now or something?
You should be so lucky. I'll see you tomorrow night.
Not coming for a drink?
Nope, got a date.
Lucky you. Try not to get murdered.
Huh. Segment grade C. Oh, piss off. Sorry. Challenge room unlocked. Continue.
Finished, you'll get a broadcast report. It's 3 pages.
Oh.
This first page shows you how well the broadcast went. Each sequence and an overall grade. Remember, grades mean bonuses, and they keep the boss happy. If you want to know more about how it went, select more info. If not, select continue to move to the next page. Right,
More
this
info.
is an optional section for when you really want to understand what happened during the show. You've got a graph there showing you what the audience did. They're a fickle fucking bunch. And of course, you can really drill into the details if you want to get better at making TV. I never came here, never once.
Yep, that's a very British thing to do. So first of A+, sequence 2, A, C, an interference-free show, an exceedingly poor edit. Yeah, that's because I was dealing with the curses and stuff. Okay. So basically work a bit more on my sensors and make sure I use the hotkey instead of the thing. Instead of the thingamajig.
Right, this is the important page. It tells you how much you're going to get paid and how much wealth you have overall. That bollocks at the bottom shows you the financial state of our main advertisers. But you don't own any fucking shares. You're a cleaner, for God's sake, so why would you care?
Current wealth broke ass poor. I can tell I'm going to really enjoy this game. It may not be the best streamer game, but damn, I'm going to enjoy this game a lot.
This is the last page, and it tells you the state of the world, tells you how well the government's doing, and down the bottom there, this one's important, tells you what Channel 1 currently thinks of you. In other words, what the boss thinks.
All right, so Channel 1 is currently a heart. I love this stuff. This is really interesting.
Alright, mate, welcome to the archive. This is where you can have a quick look back at what you've done and how it looked to the public. There's 3 sections: broadcast, rushes, and adverts. Let's start with broadcast. Click on it now. Over on the left, that's all the broadcasts that you've done. Click on any one of them and hit load tape. Once it's finished loading, you can use the rewind and the fast forward at the bottom there to help you get to the bit you want to see.
You have to bleep yourself now, Proctor. I swore an awful lot after Kirsch's interview yesterday. It was, yeah, it was a very distressing event. I do not like listening to that level of absolute BS, just given without the slightest hint of irony or anything like that. I keep saying I'm not going to rant about that. Load tape.
In a few moments, we'll be going live to tonight's National Nightly News. But before that,
In.
let's take a look at what's coming up later on tonight on Channel 1. At 7 o'clock, it's the
Triple N News.
Nail-biting quiz tonight as a team of nuclear physicists take on 4 old ladies from East Grinching. That's followed at 8 p.m. by award-winning documentary series The Shape of Now, which tonight looks at the history of the knee-length sock and its importance during the Great Blackouts of 18...
Wait a second, that's really weird. My ad block is currently blocking most of That's a real deja vu moment, a weird mental moment right there, because yeah, my ad block is currently managing to block all of YouTube's ads, but like the little ads right at the top of the the recommended thing are still there when I go to the main page. And one of those was for some reason knee-length socks just like half an hour before the start of this stream. That's really strange. Is this game listening to me?
71, not one to miss. At 9 p.m, sit back and relax with multiple award-winning movie The Freedom of Being Colin, taking us all the way up to 11:15, where, as usual, Dr. Adrian Atkinson Blimey will be grilling his guests in Incisors, and tonight sees a return for leading economist Katie Brightman.
I consider it such an amazing feat of my beloved parents that they moved to a new country when I was 3 years old, and yet they were able to bring me up with such a deep appreciation of my home country's culture. I recognize all of this stuff.
Finally, at midnight, it's the National Weather Report, before we say good night until tomorrow. But now,
an interview with who? Jealous. Kirsha was doing a interview with somebody who is trying to shill basically NFT technology to VTubers. Their whole idea is that they are going to bring NFT technology to VTubing. Actually, no. They made this really weird press announcement kind of thing with a load of astroturfing that basically said that we want to take VTubing and basically remove the video element of it and turn it into audio only, because we consider the talent's audio to be the most important part. But because you should be terrified of modern technology in all of its facets, because modern technology and AI voice generation will now let people steal your voice and steal your entire revenue stream and everything by cloning your voice. And so you need to pay us money so that we can embed NFT technology into your voice when you use our platform, which is exclusively audio-based, to make unique NFT audio streams for your followers, so that using NFT technology, you can be certain that everybody knows that the audio you create from us is genuinely from you and not AI generated. It's a whole weird thing. You can just Google her channel on Kirsha's channel on YouTube. There is an entire, I think, hour-long interview. It is one of the weirdest and cringiest things you will have ever watched in your entire life. It is terrifying, honestly, how the woman on it can just talk such bold-faced, absolute balderdash with a totally straight voice, not a face, because she wasn't on video. It is, yeah, I got very viscerally upset listening to that interview, just hearing all of that nonsense being said with such a straight face. Anyway, let's get on with this, sorry.
Now, it's time to join Jeremy Donaldson for the National Nightly News.
Good evening, I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Our main stories tonight. Moving on up.
I won't watch all of this. Yeah, it's just a complete recap of everything. So I'm guessing you just do that when you want to actually understand the storyline. That makes sense, which I really appreciate. Back. What be this?
This is the rushes room. It's pretty simple. The 4 screens you can see, they're going to show you the 4 signals you got from the studio during the actual broadcast. Difference is you can mute any combination of them, so you can have a listen to the stuff you want.
Oh, I like this. I like this a lot.
Give it a go, and when you're done listening to the backstage secrets, hit back.
I won't go through this too much right now. I want to play a bit more gameplay first, but I like this a lot. So you don't actually have to go back and play the entire game to get the behind the scenes stuff that you can kind of see out of your corner of your eye while you're doing stuff. I really appreciate that. That's great. Adverts. Continue. That sounds a whole lot like blockchain certificate but voice. Yes, it literally is. That is literally the best description of it. Blockchain certificate but voice. You arrive home to find post on the mat, most being nothing more than the usual junk mail. One letter, however, catches your eye. The team wants to know ya. Curiosity gets the better of you when you open it. It's a form for the new advanced government asking ya for information on all citizens. The first page is filled in already. Your name, Alex Winston. Your spouse, Sam Winston. What? Your children, Charles Winston and Sam and Susie Winston. Wait. William Hughes, at least they got the basics right. Yeah, that was like your spouse, Sam. The rest of the questions are left for you to complete. They appear to be mandatory. Question 1. Upon starting a new job, you would be friendly and introduce yourself to your new co-workers, be productive and get to work immediately, ease yourself in and orientate yourself with a new workplace, reminisce with friends about old jobs. I would probably go with 3. Ease yourself in and orientate yourself with a new workplace. Like, I've worked several places by now, and trust me, as an autistic person, the last thing you want to do is be thrust into a totally alien environment. Be productive and get to work immediately? No, I hate that. When I work, I really want to know where everything in my life is properly set up first. I'm the kind of person where if you put down, like, a pencil on my desk that I don't know where it is, that will give me an emotional crisis for about 3 hours, trying to figure out where it came from, what it's doing there, what the context is for everything else in my life, and why I should, why I should care about it. I guess this is why it was 50 gigabytes. There's up to 4 concurrent videos sometimes. Yeah, I get that. But at the same time, this is what really irritates me. Look at the footage right here. This footage is clearly, well, this isn't, because that's just regular stuff, but most of it has been deliberately like downscaled and filtered to look like an old television product. And like, remember, old television stuff, the bandwidth is very low and very simple, so I still don't see any reason why it has to be like 50 gigabytes of raw FMV stuff when most of it is already cropped to tiny resolutions and has a lot of filters and all of it. Why put over a bunch of filters on this stuff when you could just downscale the resolution and the bitrate and so on and make it look like an old TV show anyway? That's what kind of irritates me. Anyway, that's just me being pedantic. I'm a very pedantic person if you hadn't realized. So yeah, let's go 3. Question 2. A colleague in a different department has confided in you that they've been taking home confidential information. Now, a file of minor importance has gone missing. You would help your colleague cover up the violation? No, absolutely not. Recommend that your colleague reports it. Promise your colleague you won't tell anyone. Report the violation to your supervisor immediately. The thing is, this is multiple choice, but I would do this. Like, the standard that I was brought up to is that you need to give the person a chance to come clean yourself. And if they don't, you should report the violation. It's like, this is something that is very much based in biblical wisdom. Like, the standard is that again, I was raised a Christian, and I was raised a Christian with emphasis on Bible morality. Like, the standard is that if you're aware that somebody has committed a sin, then you should come forward to them and advise them as a supportive colleague or comrade that they need to come clean about it and they need to make up for it, and you give them a chance to do that. But if they don't, then it is your duty to report it yourself, because you can't cover up the sin of somebody else, especially if it's a serious sin. And I think a whole lot of society would be better off if people were like that. I absolutely do not agree with this whole help your colleague cover up violations and stuff at all. Like, that is just intrinsically morally wrong, and it doesn't matter what kind of stuff is there. Besides, this is like confidential information. Again, like with Kirsha, when she talks about the insurance work that she was doing, it's like she was under camera surveillance the whole time, and to make sure that nobody walked out with people's confidential information. You do not want people under any circumstances messing with your confidential information. That absolutely counts as something you should report immediately. So I'm going to do this. Very much based. Filter adds size like hell. If it's 1080 or plus, it's going to be fat. They might have different video for different resolutions as well. Yeah. And that's true. That's the annoying thing. I see people waste time with filters an awful lot when I'm just like, just downscale the output. It'll look basically the same. Question 3. An entire department was fired today for consistent underperformance. Your base has put in place new targets that are significantly higher than the previous ones. You would leave work on time, stay late to ensure you hit the first deadline, leave work early and head to the pub to chat about the changes with colleagues. Leave work early and head home to see your family. Well, I have a family, so stay late to ensure you hit the first deadline would make sense. But again, I've seen this go the wrong way a lot of times. What's the point of having a family if you work yourself so hard that you're never around for them? That's the tragedy of the modern work life, really. So I think leave work early and head home to see your family. I would probably go with that. Question 4. It's the annual company barbecue, and you and your family have been invited. You are looking forward to enjoying a nice day out with friends and family, are washing your hair that day. Go if you're free but wouldn't mind missing it. I've been practicing with your co-workers and think you'll win the talent contest this year. Anybody who decides to enter a talent contest or anything like that in the modern era is asking to have their be humiliated in public. This is the one thing, like my local social group has parties and so on occasionally, and I like going to them, but I really don't like how the old people are like, oh, I've got this magic brick in my pocket that lets me record what everybody is doing, and whenever anybody tells a funny joke or something, oh, I'm going to upload that to Facebook later so all my friends in other areas can see it. I'm like, no, please do not do that. You do not know what you are doing. Please do not take videos of people that are slightly drunk and making a fool out of themselves and then post it on the internet for other people to copy and save. That's just very, very, very unfair in current year. He keeps talking about Kirsha and every chance. Look, excuse me. She is my Kamiyoshi, okay? And the person that I watch the most online. Of course I'm going to talk about her a lot. Get over it. She's basically the only reason why I'm streaming. Well, not the only reason, but she was definitely my inspiration for it. Because I'm thinking if somebody with her level of anxiety can manage it, then that I sure as hell can. Anyway, I think, are you looking forward to a... Yeah, that makes sense. Question 5. You've had a long, successful career and are now about to retire. In your speech, you list your achievements and all the good memories you have of working there. Give an honest review of the pros and cons of the company. Focus on issues and challenges you faced while working there. Refuse to attend. I think honest review, that would stand. Yeah, that's basically what I do. Because obviously, if you're about to retire, then the best thing you can probably do is be frank and honest. Because if it's a retirement, like a classic British retirement, you'll have to work that job for a long, long damn time. So you're going to be in the best position possible to give honest and fair critique to the people that are coming after you. So I think that, again, that would be the morally justifiable thing to do. And of course, like, my mix would be, answer would be a mix of A and B. But as a priority, definitely B. Question 6. In your spare time, you like to relax alone, doing things like listening to music or making models. If I was single, then that would be definitely the answer. But, like, in the game, I'm not single. So 3 would definitely... This is another thing. The game has already given you a family. So these questions are a little bit odd. And I both like it and don't like it at the same time. It's doing the Papers, Please thing where it's encouraging you to think of your family as well. But, like, as the loner sitting in my shed that I am, A would absolutely be the thing that I do. But in context of the game and the character whose shoes that I have been put in, C would definitely work with that. And if people are wondering what the kind of my attitude towards this is, I'm the kind of guy who's played every single Mass Effect game using the default character look, because I just feel that works the best for the character the game is making you play as. Your ideal holiday getaway would be surrounded by natural beauty, getting away from the strain of the daily grind, exploring somewhere unfamiliar and discovering new experiences and challenges. A structured day out at a theme park, bursting with thrills and attractions for you and your family. I hate theme parks. One of the local towns to me is like a theme park town, and I will say that it does have the only good fish and chip shop for about 50 miles in any direction, so I approve of it on that grounds only. It is in every other way a wretched hive. It's like all casinos, and there's a literal sex toy shop right in the middle of the street, which also has a cafe adjacent to it, and I do not understand. I do not want to look at dildos while sipping my coffee, thank you very much. And it's like, maybe it's different than America, but that kind of thing is absolutely not the norm in Ireland in any way whatsoever, and it's the only place that I've seen that does that, and it's really damn creepy. Yeah, it's a completely soulless place where that's really active during the holiday seasons, but it's not... apart from the fish and chips, there is no reason to go there unless you are a soulless corporate tourist. Is it 25 years for a gold clock in Blighty as well? Going to talent contests is kind of like joining a small VTuber company. A would definitely be a thing, both for me and the character that I'm playing, because again, I live in a very beautiful natural location, and I would consider that to be one of the absolute highest reasons why I am the sane individual that I am today. Well, sane as in sane enough to open a VTuber forum. I would say one of the worst things you can possibly inflict upon somebody is to trap them in a city, especially in current year. Question 8. It is most important that the government keeps people safe, free, happy, equal. Oh dear, now this is a loaded question, isn't it? Again, my answer to this would vary tremendously based on my attitude towards the government in question, because I think, again, I can't really go into it because every single time I want to talk about politics, I feel like I have to add so many caveats from my own experiences and my own perspectives that it becomes a whole load of morasses. But I believe very strongly in the idea of a high-trust society where you can trust people to act in both their own and your best interests. And because I am a Christian, the idea of a government, as in a divine government, being something that has the right and authority to dictate how you live your life via morality, Bible morality and laws and so on, is one that I inherently enjoy the concept of, because again, I trust that the divine authority, that an omniscient authority, is able to make judgments from an objective viewpoint that no human government can possibly match. But when you get to a human government, that concept of a high-trust society is inherently sabotaged because people are generally not trustworthy, and they are also very bad at determining the trust levels of other people. So, yeah, from a personal viewpoint, the idea of a government that keeps people safe is a very appealing one, as well as one that keeps one free. But then again, like, all of this has both good and bad connotations, so definitely not equal, though, because equal, yeah, people are not equal, and it doesn't matter how hard you try. Unless you create a utopia, you're never going to be equal. So I'd say I'm going to go with the libertarian option and just say free. Sign your name. Okay, that's easy enough. Damn, that took quite a long time to get through, but I like that. I really like that. I'm glad I picked this game. It's a very good game. Day 6. A family matter. It's late. Sam and the kids have gone to bed. You're just drying up your favorite coffee cup, a worn-out souvenir of your first trip together. The print's faded, but a goofy face still makes you smile. There in the garden, clutching a gaudy neon green suitcase, is Chris, Sam's sibling. As soon as you let them in, they sit at the table, visibly stressed. Chris takes a deep breath. Oh, that's cute. You can actually see the mug. That's really cute. I remember these kind of mugs. Yeah, again, this is a quintessentially British mug. That's so cute. I really love it. I will say that this is another, one of those cultural things. The fastest way to tell a low-class British person from a high-class British person is what kind of mug they use to drink tea from. A high-class person is going to use a very small mug, or maybe even like a little teacup. whereas a low-class person will use the biggest mug possible, up to the point of having more than twice the capacity of a high-class person's mug. I, of course, use the largest mug possible because I don't care about that. I just want as much tea in my veins as possible, as fast as possible. I'm so sorry for bursting in so late, Alex, but I need a favor and you're the only one I can ask. No problem, what's going on? Are you okay? Should I go get Sam? No need to worry, Sam. It's you I came to see. I just need 2 minutes. You've heard about the Assets and Wealth Act. Not really, it must have passed me by. Chris's face is screwed up tight now. They're taking people's hard-earned money to fund the lazy. I wonder who this guy is. I'm not saying the top 1% or whatever don't have stupid money, Chris adds hastily, but they can afford it. People like me, we're going to lose everything. And that's why I'm here. Why do I get the feeling I'm not going to like this? Yeah, this guy is obviously some kind of conservative allegory. Chris's eyes seem to be resting comfortably on the floor tiles. Look, I know it's a lot to ask, but I need to borrow your passport. No, you are not getting my passport. No way. They've taken mine in half the bloody countries, but people always say you and I look similar, so... Chris is pacing now. I need to leave before it's too late. Once I'm out, me and my money will be safe. But I need to go now, before they freeze my accounts. Please, Alex. I wouldn't ask if I had any other choice. No, surely there's another way. It can't be serious. Chris's mouth falls open. You're joking, right? I've always done right by you and Sam. I've treated your children like they were my own. We're family. Does that mean nothing to you? No, I don't agree with this on a moral level at all. You are not getting my passport. Bugger off, mate. Fine, I'll solve this myself, Chris spits. So much for family loyalty, eh? Grabbing the nigh-on fluorescent suitcase, Chris disappears into the night. You go back to the dishes, picking up Sam's cup again. The peeling face now seems to bore into you. Here you used to be... Oh, 1 second. Here you used to be able to tell if someone was poor whether or not they drank coffee through a small lump of sugar. What do you mean, like, through a small lump of sugar? What do you mean, Porian? Oh yes, I have to. Oh, is it daytime now? Oh, I can only go with that. All right.
Let's get set up and get on with it, eh? So I can get back to my guests. First of all, let's get the power on. You need to get at least the bottom 4 plugs on. Right, let's load up the adverts.
What's the fan do? Huh, okay.
You know, load the tapes under the desk. Look down. You might want to have a bit of a think about it.
Should we play... Is this toy safe? Yeah, we're definitely playing that first. An elegant new skin cream with a porky little twist. What? Should be played. Introducing Advance's Go-Getters Teen Team. Oh dear, that's gonna be cringe. Crazy Neil's festive Yuletide ornament spectacular. Alan James is coming soon to a medium-sized hall near you. Oh, I love this so much. Advanced Go-Getters. Oh.
Right, you can see they finally got the old headline system up and working again, and the vision mixer's already in headline mode because headlines always come at the start. It's really simple, mate. These 2 buttons at the bottom of the vision mixer, you can see they now have A and B on them, and they're to help you.
Yes, though held between your teeth. If you did, you were poor. My good grief, that is poor. Wow. I cannot imagine doing that. Also, no, nobody reuses tea bags. I have never known... Here, actually, let me go on a quick rant here. This is one of the things that I hate about the Irish, okay? This is racist Proctor as a moment. This is imperialist Proctor coming through very loudly. The thing that I hate about the Irish, when I was going to my college, we had a cafeteria, and you could buy tea bags there. I used to take in my own tea bags because I am a posh and sophisticated person, and their tea bags were not exactly high quality. But I knew Irish people who would go into the cafeteria in the morning, which had free hot water. They would get a cup they would get a cup, and they would fill it with hot water, and they would put one tea bag in it. They would not stir that tea bag at all. They would take that tea bag and that cup back to their classroom and drink that tea without ever stirring the tea bag. And then they would go back to the cafeteria and they would fill back up with hot water, and they would still use the same tea bag and they would not stir it. And they would drink that like 3 or 4 cups on one tea bag that they hadn't stirred. I wanted to kill those people every time I saw them. I cannot describe to you the level of visceral disgust that I felt whenever I saw those people and their tea bags. Whenever they would get up from their desk and walk away, I would be irresistibly drawn to stare at the forlorn little cup of hot water on their table and watch like the tiny little wisps of brown tea that was trying to exude itself from that poor abused tea bag, and I would feel a sense of cultural loss just burning its way through my gut. That would hurt me. This sounds ridiculous, but no, this really genuinely happened to me on multiple occasions. I felt this sense of being among an alien people whose values I did not share and that I could not understand. But it's okay, it's okay. I got through college perfectly fine. It's okay. Imagine not using loose leaf tea. Loose leaf tea can be quite expensive. That's why I don't have much of it. There is actually, that's one of the things that I credit Ireland with. Ireland has become a lot more multicultural in the good way in the last couple of decades, because now you can go up to like the local county cities and go into markets that sell really, really nice and fairly exotic food, and especially drink. There's a big coffee shop up in Cork, which is like the regional capital. Cork is a lovely city. I really like Cork, but it has also a great big classical market. And it sells there's a big coffee shop there that sells just both coffee and tea, and it's wonderful. I go there fairly often in the winter. I should actually go there again fairly soon, because it's a lovely place. And spend a rather large amount of money on very, very nice mixed tea. Oh, that's nice. I'm just going to have a drink, actually, because I'm thirsty now. Raging Proctor equals best Proctor. You don't know the kind of psychological trauma you can inflict on a British man by abusing a tea bag. Now, if I'm ever caught for something or other and I need to be tortured, there is no torture that can be inflicted upon me worse than abusing a tea bag. It's just there. Somebody took the effort to pack it away, and that tea has come an awful long way. Like, tea is a really expensive and difficult to produce product. Like, tea only grows in certain parts of the world. A lot of effort went in to harvest that tea, and then you're not even going to use it properly. You're not going to let it fulfill the destiny that the plant had in mind for it. That's just cruelty. You don't do that. It's not civil. It's not civil. People in a good society don't do things like that. A 500-gram bag of good loose leaf tea would be €2 here. Some things are just arbitrarily and weirdly expensive in Ireland when they're not expensive in England. I think Marmite is one of those things. A pot of Marmite over here is something like €6, whereas in England you can buy Marmite for like £1 a jar, and it's why whenever my parents or my father goes over to England to visit his extremely elderly mother, he always makes sure to buy a very large supply of Marmite and crumpets. I am almost sad that he has never been stopped and searched by customs, because I really do want to see a recording of a customs agent going through the back of my father's car and finding like 35 packets of crumpets and 20 jars of Marmite to be like, what the hell is going on here? Why is this a thing? You'd have to pay me to eat Marmite. Parian, this is why you are an inferior entity. Approaching 5 full minutes ranting about tea, Mr. British Man. I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. We should go. It's the game. It's bringing out my cultural roots. All right. This is the kind of thing that British people rant about. You just have to deal with it.
Pick image A on the left bottom screen here, or image B on the right bottom screen here. It's really simple. This little clock here will count down the number of seconds you have to make your decision. Provided you make a decision in that time, you're fine. And you can change your mind as much as you want until the clock reaches 0. But if you don't make any decision, you'll be fired before you even get to make another choice. I just want to say one more thing, mate. The pictures you choose to show of these people, well, that's how the public is going to perceive them, and that's going to affect their lives. So like with the adverts, choose carefully. And we're off. Good luck, mate. If I get time, I'll call you back in the next break. Yeah, I'm coming, darling.
My friend Janet says theirs gets really hot.
Is this Janet who thinks dogs have their own secret language?
Yeah, the one that mistrusts the moon. 10 seconds, everybody.
Not the best source of consumer advice, then.
Don't blame me when it explodes. Going in 5, 4, 3.
Good evening. I'm Jeremy Donaldson.
I like this guy a lot, by the way.
Destination unknown. At the end of Advance's first full week in office, we ask who's leading this charge. Tonight, I'll be discussing what the new future might hold with a leading economist and radical free thinker. With the country's wealth creators in a state of panic and unfavourable rumblings already heard from overseas, I'll be asking my guests whether Advance can deliver on even a fraction of their manifesto promises. Out with the old, Remington's Fist have appointed Sophia Remington as their new CEO.
Okay, what's this one?
Taken from our archive, gives us a sense of this influential young firebrand who, at the tender age of 23, becomes the youngest female CEO.
I'm definitely going with B.
Sophia Remington's appointment is a risk for the giant mega corporation. Sophia, as our regular viewers will be aware, has always been a wild child and has been romantically linked to several movie stars and sports personalities. In her first press conference this afternoon, Sophia announced a children's toy named Mr. Snugglehugs. Sophia promises it'll be all the rage this Christmas, but concerns have been raised about the product's safety. Making a splash.
I'm going to destroy some lives this stream.
And marine biologist Ingrid Swarsborg-Horgensford have today
What? I'm sorry. I wonder how many takes that actor needed to do that, to say that name with a completely straight face. Good grief. They give him makeup but not a decent haircut. 1 second, I'm just gonna do something and check stuff on my laptop thing. It really deeply frustrates me how out of sync YouTube's own systems get with themselves after a while. You literally have to refresh stuff from time to make sure that it's actually working, and it's really frustrating.
Off to explore Dante's Taint. The recently discovered cave system
Dante's Taint!
Unreachable. But thanks to a new breakthrough in underwater flood technology, the pair hope to successfully reach the imposing central cavern and the undiscovered plant species it contains. Many were surprised when the two scientists, who've shared a fractious rivalry for many years, decided to undertake this expedition in each other's company. However, the two have released a joint statement in which they opine geniuses don't have to like each other to achieve remarkable results. Playing the field, rumours abound as sporting legend Johnny Hamsleeves is snapped leaving Bush, one of the capital's hottest clubs. The footballer was caught while out celebrating being named Sports Personality of the Year last week, as reported by this very programme. And judging from the angle and velocity of that spray, it looks like Johnny may have been celebrating a little bit too much. I certainly wouldn't want to be his dry cleaner. And grievous bodily charm. With Advance promising a radical new position on crime, how afraid should we actually be? I'll be going live around the country to talk with people who've seen the criminal justice system from every perspective. With more and more powers passing to the police, and less oversight, Are we using an advanced-shaped sledgehammer to crack a nut? All that, and Megan Wolf, a group of young actors already experiencing the positive side of the new Assets and Wealth Act firsthand. They'll be talking and performing later. That's all coming up on tonight's National Nightly News.
Oops.
30 seconds back. Get the guests in quickly, please.
We actually had to book in.
Whoops, whoops, whoops. Oh dear, I completely messed up my hotkeys for a minute. Wait, what the heck? Oh, interference. Oh dear. Sorry, I was completely distracted for a second. That was bad of me. Oh.
Think of the government's swift enactment of the Assets and Wealth Act.
Oh, sorry, that completely caught me by surprise.
We're talking about advances first week in office and what the new future holds. Joining me are Katie Brightman, a leading economist, and Alan James, author of Alan James is Right, The Free Man's Guide to Waking Up. Alan, the government certainly haven't dragged their heels on delivering some of the legislation they promised. But what does the Wealth Act mean for us?
Nothing, Jeremy. We're still vassal slaves, we're just in prettier cages.
A confident dismissal there. Katie Brightman, do you agree?
I'm afraid I don't, no. I think that Advance have realised that the current economic system of unlimited, unending growth is untenable, so they're changing things up.
Oh, be cool.
I agree with you. They're moving to the next steps in the grand plan.
Grand plan, Alan?
It's all in my book. Alan James is right, Jeremy. We're to become the great herd. Ignorant, sterile, and short-lived. That's what they want.
Or perhaps Advance have just realised that if we carry on the way we are, we will destroy ourselves and this planet in a mad orgy of consumption, if you'll excuse the colourful metaphor.
Yes, orgy is the right word. Only it'll be the overlords having an orgy on our poor broken backs. It's all in my book. Alan James is...
Shamelessly self-promoting? Katie, how do you think the rest of the world will respond to this new approach?
I think they're watching carefully. Advance are the most disruptive threat that the world powers have faced since the last Great War.
Yes, Katie's right. War is inevitable.
Thank you, but that isn't
And this will not be a war like we've ever seen before. We're talking millions of deaths. We're talking high-tech weapons that can level entire cities. We're talking...
Out of the wrong orifices?
I like this guy an awful lot.
And they poison your food and they take you away to their camps for hypno-brainwashing. Who will be laughing then?
That might be a great way to sell books, Alan, but you know full well that isn't going to happen in a democracy.
Democracy is dead.
Yes, Advance are radical, and change is always frightening, but the truth is that the Wealth and Assets Act has made more than 90% of the population wealthier and is on target to produce a permanent end to poverty.
Bollocks! What this young lady doesn't understand, Jeremy, is that these are the same people. Maybe they've rebranded, but it's all a little circus act to keep us from seeing the tyrant behind the curtain.
That's where you're wrong, Alan. For a start, they've mobilised the youth vote like we've never seen before.
You say mobilise, I call it grooming. The grooming of an entire generation to walk happily into eternal bondage. They're like psychic paedophiles.
But based on the fact...
Wait a sec, I'm very surprised there. I thought I would have to censor the word pedophile. I forgot this. That's ironic that this thing is actually less dystopian right now than YouTube. Because I think that, yeah, if you're a big channel on YouTube, you can't use the word pedophile at all. You have to use various different metaphors for it. I don't bloody care. I'm not monetized. I never will be.
Katie, what are your predictions?
The Assets and Wealth Act is only the first step. Advance now have a historic budgetary surplus, and as well as properly funding our public services, they're already funneling unprecedented amounts into scientific research and the arts.
Or, as I call them in my book, Frankenscience and opiates. Like opiates, see?
Can we get back to the issue at hand, please, Alan?
This is the issue. It's all coming from the water, the chemicals. They're pumping it full of belief juice.
Don't get me wrong.
I wonder who the hell this guy could be a parody of.
If Advance lose their power after spending half of our GDP on dismantling infrastructure, that could be catastrophic.
The catastrophe is that they're succeeding. They've got us sat here talking about their puppet show.
All right, we're running out of time. Quickly, Alan, what does the future look like to you?
A bleak space where we've all been figuratively sodomized into submission.
No, of course. Katie?
We might be on the eve of a brave new world. God knows we need some change, but we need to be cautious. Let's walk forwards with our eyes open.
Two very different visions of the future there. Alan James, Katie Brightman, thank you for joining me. When we come back, I'll be investigating law and order before Meghan meets some beneficiaries of the Assets and Wealth Act. That's all coming up tonight on the National Nightly News.
1 minute back.
You know, I think they might do some good.
I hope so too, Jeremy.
How much are you being paid by them then?
Shut the fuck up.
I do say that they're rather brave of them to cast the Alex Jones guy as a black man. That's really, I find that highly amusing. Let me just check something quick. There we go. How long have we been going for? I can't even remember. I think I'll go for this night and then see. I'll definitely be streaming more of this. I really like this game.
Alan, I've never heard so much shit in my life.
Well, we'll see who's full of shit, won't we?
Alan, I can explain it to you, but unfortunately, I can't understand it for you.
Well, I don't know what she meant by that.
Segment grain E. Screw you.
How's it going, actually? Fuck it, I don't care. I hate the fucking news. Oh, bloody hell, I love this tune, though. All right, mate, see you later. Bye.
I'm just saying I'll do what I can, that's all.
Oh shit, you will. She's good. You know she is.
I've said a bit of word in, that's all I can do.
10 seconds, everybody. You little cheeky scared of the big bad caught you with water.
If that sticks, I'll destroy you.
5, 4, 3.
Welcome back. In our second segment, we're going to be taking a deep dive into the state of law and order in our country. Advance have already tasked what they are calling a solutions team to move this serious social problem to the top of the list. Tonight, we go behind the headlines to meet the people who live with the criminal justice system every day of their lives. First up, we have Gregory Judge, a lawyer who sees the problems close up on the front line. Can you hear me, Gregory?
Yes, I've got you, Jeremy.
Oh, I actually caught that one.
What's it like on the front line of the hard face of the cold hand of justice?
Well, as you can imagine, Jeremy, we are massively understaffed in this country. We're working every hour we can just to try and cope with the caseloads on our desk.
I really hate it when a guy goes on TV without a tie and his buttons not done up properly.
There just simply isn't enough being done at a systemic level to relieve the problem. We need more support from ministers. What are you doing? We need change at a structural level, Jeremy.
I'm leaving, Greg.
Not a good time, darling.
It never is it? I'll be at my mother's.
Just hang on. No, the problem isn't a local one, Jeremy. It's nationwide. Just give me 5 minutes. I'm talking to Jeremy Donaldson.
Oh, have you mentioned your affairs?
No. Well, the affairs of the Justice Department that we should be concerned about.
Hello, Mr. Donaldson.
Hello, Mrs. Judge.
We need legislation to relieve the pressure on our public
Sorry to interrupt the news, Mr. Donaldson. Can I have a moment to tell my husband I'm leaving him?
Yes, I totally understand. Quite the picture of a burdened legal sector there. Gregory Judge, thank you for joining us. Next, I'm joined by Police Chief Constable Bob Peel, a man with a very different perspective on our nation's crime. Do you think there's a problem with the system, Bob?
I'm sure we all do, Jeremy. I'm sure we all.
Oh no, here we go again.
The days when you could safely walk the streets of your community at night, looking in through windows and generally enjoying your neighbours without the risk of being terrorised by some thug with a knife or cosh.
So you feel the streets simply aren't safe anymore? Where have we gone wrong, Bob?
Well, that's not a simple question, Jeremy, but I think it all comes down to moral decay. We've diluted our culture and lost touch with what it means to be a citizen of this once great country. Also, as the...
And to what do you attribute this moral decay?
Foreigners, gays and... It's all in the Bible. Look, Leviticus clearly states that... Oh, bugger, hang on a moment.
Wait a second. I'm sorry, I had to pause that for a second just to see what's in the background.
Jeremy, your bloody gimps escaped. Delia, could you give me a little help, please, dear? As I was saying, Jesus didn't like immigrants much, did he?
And just to be clear, you think it's the immigrants who are responsible for the moral decay?
Jeremy, back in your box, Clive. Back in your box. Delia, I really could use a little help with this.
Oh, sorry, darling. I was spaying the badgers.
Yes, I'm talking to Jeremy Donaldson. Clive, could you put it back in the box?
Oh, Clive, you know it's Wednesday. Pack your goods back in your gimp space.
And whose responsibility is it to make a change, Bob?
Well, it is certainly not the responsibility of the decent, good, white people
Darling,
of this...
where's the padlock?
Hold on just a moment.
Clive, this simply won't do. Naughty, naughty, boy. Mummy said get
Clive, I am not having this again.
Mummy said get back in your gimp space. No! Naughty! You beast, Clive!
As I was saying, Jeremy, moral decay. Crime is the responsibility of the criminal, no one else. Look, everyone has a sob story, but we don't all end up as barbarians, do we? Look, when our daughter Alice comes home with an A-, does she go on a killing spree? No, she takes 3 of her pills and hides under the stairs like a normal child.
Bob Peel there, really locking down the police's position on morality for us. And finally tonight, hopefully uninterrupted, it's time to get to the heart of the matter. Tony Dawson has recently been released from prison after
Sorry, just a second. My throat is getting really rough. I'm just going to take a drink. Mooga? Nice reference. What do you mean? Remember, I'm completely terrible at the meme game and everything, so when somebody makes a reference, I'm probably not going to get it. Ugh. Oh dear, I love this game already. This is an amazing game.
Serving 3 years for aggravated assault, burglary, and menacing a swan. He's agreed to talk to us today, which is also
Wait, menacing swan?
Many happy returns, Tony.
Cheers, Jez. Call me Titman, Tony. Everybody else does.
No, I'm not going to be doing that. Can you tell us what it's like in prison, Tony?
Titwank, Tony. Prison's a mixed bag. Structure's quite nice, but it's a constant battle against institutionalization, as you can imagine. And obviously, titwanks are quite hard to come by.
I'm picking up that you're not alone there, Tony.
Titwank, Tony. Yeah, sorry, my friends are throwing me a surprise party. Good bunch of lads.
Okay, well, we're trying to let you get back to that party as soon as possible. First, let me ask you this. Do you feel that your time spent in prison helped to rehabilitate you in any way, Tony?
Titwank, Tony. I don't think it's as easy as that, Jez.
Sopen!
Yeah, I think asking that is an oversimplification.
It sounds like it's getting quite busy there, Tony, but let's try and soldier on. Since leaving custody, have you been able to find a new job?
Yeah, all the boys are here. Big Chris, Little Chris, and Vampire Chris.
This one's, yeah?
Yep. One sec, love. Titwank Tony's on the news. Rehabilitation's difficult with the current system, Jez. Just not set up for it, you know? It's inherently unjust.
So, do you feel tempted to... I'm sorry, who's this guy?
You are joking. Chrissy Free Bollocks has only got Mr. Fancy, oh. Not now, fellas. I'm on the news.
It seems like we've caught you at a bad time.
The little boy?
Oh, I can't really hear you, mate. It's getting a bit busy here. Jesus.
Yes, we seem to be losing the signal here, Tony.
Fucking way, lad. Believe that.
Well, we're just trying to get that signal back. I think we... Yes, Tony? Tony, I mean, we were literally away for 2 seconds. How has this happened, Tony? Can you hear me? Well, we seem to have lost our train of thought there a little. Hopefully you, the viewer at home, have managed to glean a broader understanding of the serious and complex issues around law and order. After the break, Megan will be live with some plucky young thespians. Don't go away. We'll be back after these messages.
1 minute back, everybody.
This is gonna be this guy's subplot, isn't it? He's just gonna get incredibly more drunk as time goes by.
In this next section, there's a bit of music. If you edit in time with the music, you can see the result on the vision mixer, and the public will love that. Don't worry if you don't, though. You won't get punished for it or nothing. Just try and stay in the groove. Also, one last tip. When the music starts, turn down the broadcast volume. Right, enjoy the music bit. God, I love music. God, I'm so pissed. I think I might go and throw up in a bit.
With the Go-Getters, you can be sure that your children will be well equipped in the march towards progress. After all, there's nothing better than
10
moving
seconds,
forward.
everybody.
The advanced
Gonna open
go-getters.
on Megan.
Forwards.
Camera 2. Going in 5, 4, 3.
Welcome to Black. I'm Megan Wolf, and
Welcome
on
to
tonight's
Black. I'm
Culture
Megan
Spot,
Wolf.
I'll be chatting with one of the first beneficiaries of the Assets and Wealth Act, a team of inspiring young people from Scritchford Sixth Form College who today received a grant from Advance to take their play
Scritchford is a real place, I'm betting.
on a tour of local secondary schools. Welcome to you all. Well, let's start with you two, Harriet and Charlotte Winstanley-Hamilton. Girls, you must be thrilled.
We are, Megan. We're overwhelmed, to be honest.
And I believe you two are sisters, is that right?
Yes, Charlotte's my oldest. I'm the older, more popular one.
Harriet and Trey were really the ones who came up with the whole idea.
So, Harry and I were shooting the breeze in the cafeteria.
Oh, God.
So I went to look for a drama teacher.
But she'd been laid off due to budget cuts. Fortunately, I directed a pantomime when I was at university, so I knew the ropes, as it were.
Right, yes, but you're the maths teacher, aren't you?
Yes, that's me, Jeff Algebra, maths teacher.
Maths is really important.
Oh, thanks, Steve.
Maths is really important.
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
As is theatre. It's one of the oldest art forms in history. Aristotle. I just think that when we travel around all these problem schools and the poor kids see us, they say, hey, I really want to be like those attractive kids. And that's a very beautiful and powerful thing. We touch our audiences and they touch us right back.
I suppose with a surname like Algebra, there was really only one choice of career for me. My wife, Angela, and I, we often laugh about it.
Angela Algebra.
Yes.
Angela Algebra.
Yes.
We just want to bring a bit of song and joy into people's lives.
And teach people about the difficult issues. The issues in the play are what really matter.
And I think you're going to be showing us an extract from this play, aren't you?
That's right. Put into context, I play a young first year who's having some troubles at school.
Her character doesn't actually have a name, yeah, because in a way she's like all of us.
It's like a metaphor. Maybe she's you at home, or like maybe she's you, Megan.
Maths is really important.
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
Put it in, coach.
Yes, thanks, Steve.
Right, well, I'm going to have a little chat with your teacher while you run off and get ready. I can't wait to see it. That's it, that way. That's it, that way. So, Jeff, when did you first hear about the grant?
2 days ago, a letter from Advance arrived at the school. Now, the headmaster thought it was all a prank, but his secretary retrieved it from his bin and brought it to me.
How? How did you react?
I also threw it in the bin.
How did you react?
Then Harriet and Trey rescued it, and they rang the number at the bottom of the page, and next thing you know, we're on tour.
Wow. Well, I think we can all guess which way you'll be voting from now on.
Do you know what? It's funny because Angela and I don't usually vote. We're not very political. I'm a mathematician, of course, and she's a paraplegic mainly. But we did used to watch that Peter Clements DIY show back in the day, and so we thought, why not? Let's have a go at this old democracy thing.
Okay.
And here we ballywell are.
Good stuff.
Fucking brilliant!
So, let's have a look at a short section.
I got that. Oh, yes.
Friendship of Hey.
Dear Diary. I'm not sure I can take another day at this school. Another day of tears. Another day of tears. Another day of fears. Another day of fears. But still I walk the corridors alone. Dreading what might be around every corner.
What's around the corner? What's around the corner? What's around the corner?
Oh, hi Gary. Oh heavens no! It's Gary the Fist! Oh heavens no!
Gary the Fist! Gary the Fist! Going somewhere, little first year? Great. I've been looking for some poor victim to bully all morning, but will this make me feel better about my violent father?
Excuse me, I'm late for maths. It's my favourite subject. And so important.
Maths is for losers.
What?
Maths is for losers.
My arm's stuck, coach.
Keep going, for fuck's sake.
Right.
Keep going, for fuck's sake.
Maths is for losers. Now, give me your lunch money. Now,
double lunch for me today, but why am I only truly happy when I'm eating?
Not today, Gary the Fist. Not today.
What do you mean not today? Who are you? What do you mean not today? My arm's free coat.
Brilliant, keep going.
My arm's free coat.
Brilliant, keep
who are
going.
you to stand up to me? I, Gary the Fist. And you're just a sad little girl with two gay dads who's all alone.
That's where you're wrong, Gary the Fist. That's where you're wrong. These are my
Wait, I just noticed that the three little, I think that the four little icons that are just below the 4 television screens are actually telling you what the audience engagement levels on them are. I only just noticed that because I noticed they've been going from like orange to red to green. So that's actually really convenient and expedient. I'll have to keep that in mind. If it's actually true, I'm not sure. There must be some reason for that. Let me just look at the chat for half a second. This game is actually a lot funnier than I thought it would be. Yeah, the British know how to do comedy in that very particular way. Like, one of my first ever... This is how I became the proctor that I am today, because instead of like children's cartoons or stuff growing up, no, I listened to BBC radio plays practically from the crib. I vividly remember that my parents had a copy of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy radio play on cassette tape, and every night I used to listen to that as I went to sleep. And the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy radio plays and the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy books by Douglas Adams are possibly some of the best works of British comedy in all history, honestly. And they're surprisingly good satires of a whole load of different stuff, and I really, really liked them. I should stream the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy like on Discord or somewhere sometime, because it's an amazing radio play, and it's I don't know, it really makes me nostalgic just thinking about it. Anyway, let's get on with this. Sorry about that.
2 new friends. Vanessa is captain of the netball team. And Blake owns a motorbike.
But I can't fight all 3 of you. And I don't have any friends of my own.
Take a look at me. Take a little look at my face. I could be you. She could be you. And you could be me.
Or you could be me.
Life can be peachy keen if you work as a team.
It's my choice to be made. So stop now, make a different choice.
Hey, listen up, I won't take no crap. Who said middle class girls can't rap? I ain't no
Oh no.
I'm a mother-loving rebel, but I still love maths.
Hey, kids, I'm Gary the Fist. People think that folks like me probably shouldn't exist, but that's just prejudice, and I'd do better if you knew the way that I became Gary the Fist.
Oh god.
I grew up on a council estate. The park was hip, but the flats weren't great. My dad used to come home drunk and late, and he'd hit my mum for dinner. He had to wait. Where's my dinner?
It's not ready.
Where's my dinner, woman? Don't make me ask you again.
Hitting women is wrong. Hitting women is wrong.
I guess life's pretty hard on a council estate. 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 It's so damn hard on a council estate.
Life can be peachy keen.
Just work as a team.
It's your choice to be me.
It's my choice.
So stop now, make a different choice.
Listen to that inner voice.
Friendship!
Yes!
Well, thankfully that's all we have time for tonight on the National Nightly News. Join us tomorrow night for all the headlines from across the country. My name's Jeremy Donaldson. Have a peaceful night.
And we're out.
Oh, that was brilliant!
What the literal fuck was that?
I believe that was art.
I believe I've got a 14-inch cock, but it doesn't make it so.
Adequate paycheck.
Oh, someone please get these twats out of my studio.
Hydrogen monoxide.
Oh, bugger off. More info. All offensive words were centered. An interference-free show. An exceedingly poor edit. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. You have received a silent doctor pay. Oh, lovely. I'll definitely need to replay that to actually get a decent grade on it, but you know, the tragic thing is that stuff like that musical thing, again, I remember seeing those. They even crept over into Ireland. I feel so sorry for those kids that had to perform those kind of things, and it was like on actual live TV and stuff. And it was, is it any wonder that society is so screwed up after a generation of that kind of thing? Thank God, unironically, thank God that I was home educated for most of my life. Anyway, how long have we been going for now? You're at 1 hour and 50 minutes. I think I'm going to pause here, actually. This was very fun, but I think that I don't have much more in me right this instant.
Good evening, I'm Megan Wolf.
And I'm Jeremy Donaldson.
Oh. I'll just turn this off and chill for a minute. Huh. Yeah, for just my first time, my first exposure to this game, I'm very impressed by it. I am now forgiving it for taking up so much of my hard drive space. And I remember when this game came out, I saw like a few people cover it, but then it seemed to have just kind of gone under the radar for the most part, which is a real shame because I really like it. I've been to almost identical plays by the theatre students when I was in uni. Yeah, exactly. It's so horribly accurate. It's so horribly accurate. That was a satire, but I would say in terms of quality, that was actually better than most of the ones that I've been not forced to sit through, but kind of seen by proximity. How much was it? I might want to play. It's currently, I think, $7.50 or something in euros on Steam. It's at a sale. That's why I bought it. It was $7.50 or something in euros. So like $7.99 and in dollars. But yeah, absolutely. I have more than got a tenner's worth of entertainment out of this already. I am 100% going to be streaming this again because it's really, really funny. And it's also depressing, also very depressing, because the people that made this absolutely know what kind of, what material they're satirizing. I was expecting, I remember I played the trolley problem for about 2 hours a year or two ago, and a lot of people said that after about 2 hours, it becomes an incredibly heavy-handed and painful political metaphor for pushing vaccines on people. I was kind of starting to see the start of that when I stopped playing, and I didn't go back to it because it was only a game. I streamed it to a Discord group I was in at the time, so, and I never really got the energy and urge to stream it again, so yeah, that kind of died on the vine. Maybe I'll play it again, but on stream. Funny and depressing like all the best British comedy, yeah. Absolutely, the British are true masters of being both funny and horribly, horribly depressing. This is what... I have no idea how on earth England ever had an empire as large as it did, that Britain was at one point one of the most powerful empires in all of human history, because the British hate themselves. The British hate themselves and take pride in hating themselves. An American person cannot understand how much British people hate themselves and yet simultaneously take perverse pride in how much they hate themselves. And all of this kind of stuff, it really hits straight to the heart. I mean, as somebody who has barely had any real exposure to British culture because of, apart from the stuff demonstrated by his own family and the times he's been on holiday in England, for me to get this much of a, oh my goodness, I know what they're talking about vibe from this, I can't imagine what it would be like for somebody who's lived their entire life in a London borough or something to play a game like this. It's probably too real for them. Maybe this game wasn't a massive success because it was just too damn real. It was too real for its target audience, and they were like, nah, I can't deal with this. This is actually breaking my filters just a bit. Yeah, but I really like this. I really, really liked this game. It was a fantastic purchase. I would massively recommend that anybody who even has a vague interest in British culture go watch this. Go buy this game and play this game. And I really hope to continue playing it soon, TM. Trouble is that certain people that I watch will be quite active tomorrow and Saturday, but maybe Sunday I'll stream it again because I want to see more of this, but I'm not going to play more of it now because that would just ruin the story for me, and I want to experience that whatever crazy thing this has on stage for me. But yeah, thank you all very much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. I'm surprised I even have this many viewers at this time of the evening. I recognize it just from our own state TV and watching British shows and news growing up. Yeah. British TV is this weird mix of extremely intellectual stuff and unbelievably lowbrow stuff. It's really funny to watch the two kind of interact and synergize at times. Damned Luck, a good stream. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I think that I might replay the first couple of nights once or twice just to get a better handle on the controls of it, because right at the start and first night, good grief, that was information overload. I was not prepared for like streaming and playing that kind of thing at once. So I'm sorry I had to replay the first night. Sorry, I'm in FNAF mode for some reason. Like the first day twice. I think it was actually, yeah, it was twice because I failed twice. But yeah, I should be much better at it the next time I stream, and I like this a lot, as I've said many times before. I will now go and get coffee because I am quite thirsty. Thank you all very much for coming. I will see you probably Sunday, maybe Saturday if we're incredibly lucky. But and everybody also tune in for Frog Game on Friday with my Kamiyoshi Kirsha. Good night for now, gentlemen. Thank you so much.